Greetings and salutations, everyone. My name is Featherhoof. This here is Carnage Panda, and we are here to talk to you about some animes. This is a new little show we're going to be doing, and this was his idea, so I'm going to let him introduce it.
Yeah, this was totally my idea. I've not been watching anime for years, about 10 years. I stopped watching in 2005, and last summer I decided to give it another shot and go, so my friend here, the Hoof, has decided that, we're going to do this collaboration. And so we've got a lot of anime to watch right now. So this season, 2017, we watched a lot of promotional videos. We came up with some things we wanted to watch. We dropped some of them because we just could not stand them. So we also picked up some shows, 5 shows, and we're going to get into those.
But first, we're going to get into those shows that when we were going through the long list of promotional videos and everything of shows coming out this season, the ones that we dropped. First one was Black Clover. I insisted we watch it.
Yeah,
and
the Hoof here, he thought that it was a very good show. It was going to be a shonen battle. I like those. Everybody likes those. But when it came time to watch the first episode, it was decided that we just could not watch that. And that's because
this happened.
Okay, so the next one that we did not decide to watch was Dies Irae. Okay, so
this was one that looked promising. Again, from the trailer, the promotional video made it. I'm like, that might be cool.
Yeah, it's probably another shonen battle, but once we got into watching that, we had no idea what was going on. It was just them introducing one character after another, and basically the show is just saying, hey, these guys are cool. Look, they're going to get together and fight, and there's also Nazis in the show. And personally, I feel if you need to get your feel of Nazis, there's other shows that you could watch. There's Hellsing Ultimate, brilliant show, and another show that came out last year called Saga of Tanya the Evil.
Or if you don't have your fill of Nazis and you really need them, Twitter. Next one we were sort of interested in was Osama or Aosama. I don't know the pronunciation, but Osama game, and it just sort of looked like a death game anime. And well, it turns out that we already had a death game anime with Inuyasha Ki, but we'll get to that when we get there.
Yeah, and I'm not really interested in death games. The Hoof here is interested. He likes slasher flicks. I've kind of grown out of them. I don't think there's much plot, but I'm just not a fan anymore. They got they got so many death games coming out in anime, like every single season. I think the most famous is the Future Diary, where they got that meme going with what's her name's face. Everybody knows that one. I can't think of her name right now. But moving on, we were going to do a trash round, but as far as trash, we had 2 different shows that we were going to look at. The first one is My Girlfriend is a Faithful Virgin Bitch. It was I think it's called Show Bitch, and we kind of giggled at the trailer because they just spammed that word over and over again, and we're like, yeah, maybe we should watch that, but it's just boring. That's all I can say. The jokes is that the girl wants to lose her virginity as fast as possible, and the guy's rejecting her. Haha, funny. It's not really funny, but nothing about the title is true, so I'm guessing, she's not a bitch for one thing. She's a sweet girl. She just wants to lose her virginity. She just wants to please her boyfriend. But I'm guessing, since those parts aren't true, that the faithful part's not true either. But when we really come to the trash, all I need is a little sister really takes the cake, and I really could not get past the first minute. I just left it running. I marked it off, immediately dropped it. That show is irredeemable. It's offensive to the max. There's no redeeming features. I see people saying that's satire, whatever. I don't care. Oh. But it's just, it is trash. And yes, if you watch it, you're trash too.
So the first series we picked up is Land of the Lustrous, which there are 3 episodes in now. What can I say about this anime? When we saw the promotional video, we were a little interested, but at the same time, the first thing you notice, the entire thing's done in CG. The entirety is CG, which can be good or very bad, because there's been examples of both extremes with animes that are in CG, and it's almost always because of the CG can make it or really break it. And so far, I have to say, I give it a thumbs up so far. What?
So I'm really liking this. I really like this. I think it's great. There's really no negatives. There's no negatives, man. Maybe the only negative is that the animators are really showing off what they're able to do.
Okay, yeah. Episode 3, there is it felt like 5 minutes of them showing off with the character Diamond running through. All of a sudden, the show turns into Naruto for no reason. She's running ninja-like through trees, and it's like, look how pretty we can animate with these awesome camera angles.
Yeah, the camera's sweeping all over the place. It's very dynamic. They're really showing off here. They've got some chops. They're trying to show off there.
And they do have chops, and I'm not going to knock them for that. My negative with the series is the two characters that it's obvious they are going to be the main protagonists, Foes and Cinnabar. They are the most anime protagonists ever. Okay, Foes is like, have you ever watched Sailor Moon? If you're watching this as an anime thing, you've probably seen Sailor Moon. She's like Sailor Moon before Sailor Moon. She's Serena, the not magical powerful girl. She is literally absolutely useless. She's clumsy. She's the weakest of all the stone girls. Not even the girls, are they? They're actually just sort of...
Yeah, they're supposed to be androgynous. I've read that some of them are supposed to be male, some of them are being female, but the most of them are just androgynous. They're not supposed to have any sex.
But they all with the exception of the master, is voiced by a female voice actor. So, but Foes, going for she's literally useless. And even in the show, they go out of the way to show how everyone in the show hates her. So how are you supposed to, connect with this character that even everyone in their own universe hates?
Yeah, and some of the dialogue really reminds me of a show that aired last winter, I believe it was last winter. It's called Girlish Number. There's this genre inside of anime called cute girls doing cute things, and a lot of people described Girlish Number as cute girls doing savage things, because these girls are in that show really bitches, and they're coming off on Foes. They're calling her useless, bottom rung, all these nasty things, because they're trying to fight these people from the moon that are trying to come down and turn them into jewelry, which is the main point of contention. So Foes can't really do that. The show's based on kind of like some science. They're all gemstones. They all got their different hardness levels and everything. And Foes is really not one of the hardest things, so she falls apart. There's this funny scene in the beginning where their master, he just yells and she just breaks into pieces. Actually, and he's like, "Oh, sorry about that."
Actually, the scene that made me laugh was the one chick that had to report to the master, and she,
yeah,
and he's in meditative stance, so he's like completely gone from the world. So she just to test it. So she's like, "Master," she shows up, she pokes him in the head, and she's like tapping him, and she tries to punch him, and her arm breaks off.
Yeah, it's all done for comedic value, because I did a little reading on him, and he's supposed to represent adamantine, which is a fictional material, by the way, but it's supposed to be the hardest thing ever. And since it's based on all this science and gemstones and mineralogy, whatever, obviously they're going to break against him.
Then I'll go back onto my other point of contention. The character Cinnabar. It's like, these characters, Foes and Cinnabar, are Sonic the Hedgehog and Shadow the Hedgehog. They literally are. Like, Foes is bubbly and happy, but she's also whiny. But Cinnabar is like, it's like, hey, let's take a gemstone, put it into an androgynous, vaguely female form, and make it emo as fuck. It's like, I want to die. I just want to go to the moon and become jewelry so someone will want me. Literally, that's what she said!
Well, personally, I would have picked Sasuke because he's edgelord prime. You know, everybody's talking about him. You know,
I know the show's over and they're still talking about
every time somebody is just edgy for the sake of being edgy. You know, they go to Sasuke. So that's the example. But I think you kind of nailed it with Phos being Sailor Moon.
Okay, yeah, they put Sailor Moon and Sasuke in a universe together with a bunch of other gemstones, and people from the moon want to capture them, destroy them, and turn them into jewelry. And that's pretty much the story so far.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, I really like this show. Unfortunately, you know, a lot of people are not watching it. It's kind of like they're saying about Phos, bottom rung right now. It's not getting a real traction, but I love this show. I think it's the hidden gem of the season. So,
but
well, I just wanted to see his reaction on that one. But I recommend this show.
And I also recommend it. Yes, I have problems with it, especially with the main protagonist, but every other aspect of the show completely makes up for the failings of the main protagonist. The other characters are all likable. It's watching Diamond and Bort's situation. I love the dynamic of those two characters. Mm-hmm. It is actually really, really good so far. I have high hopes for it in the future, and each episode flows seamlessly into the next one, and it's just this running story that I actually can't wait to see the next episode of.
And one last thing I want to say about this show is that, you know, it's really smart. The author did her research. It's looking at it, all the hardness and everything, the gemstones, all the research is definitely done there. Is strong in that aspect. Unlike a lot of other shows, there's some exposition dialogue that's put in there that's just weaved into the narrative beautifully. Yeah. So I can't recommend this show enough.
And on a final point, if you hear the word cleavage and comparing their cleavage, that's actually a stone metaphor, not the fact that they have... Actually, they don't really have breasts per se, do they?
No, they don't. I was sitting there watching the show with him, and they said that, and I was like, what's that got to do with anything? And you know, like I said, like with Bort, we had to look that up. Yeah. It's apparently a diamond thing, and with cleavage, we didn't get that till like an hour after we watched the show, that it's actually a gemstone thing. It's not talking about their boobs at all.
And that's Land of the Lustrous, which we both give thumbs up to.
Thumbs up. Okay, for the uninitiated, what just happened was 20 different cuts. So what we're gonna do now is move on to the next show, which is Inuyasha Ki, or as I like to call it, geriatric beatdown. It follows our main character of Ichiro Inuyasha Ki. I think I got that right. This show, what can I say? The first episode was just it took a ride down the Fields train. It was depressing as fuck.
Oh my god, this old man has the worst family ever. First off, he has like a younger wife. I'm thinking he's like, what, 70?
I think he's 58.
58? Okay. He looks 70, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he looks really old.
And he has this wife who's like in her maybe early 30s.
Yeah, she's somewhere in the 30s or 40s range, so...
And they have these two kids. The daughter's embarrassed that her dad's old. Every time she has a friend over, she introduces him as her granddad. The son wants nothing to do with him. And the wife treats him like he's an annoyance.
Yeah, he's a really likable character, but he doesn't have anything going for him. His family is just a bunch of shitheads. They don't value him as a father. You know, he buys a house for them. He didn't go with any loans or anything, so he'd obviously been saving up his money for years just so he could buy it outright. He buys the house.
Well, didn't they say he built it?
Well,
I thought they said
I don't think he built it personally.
Well, no,
I think he probably
just
got some contractors to do it for him. But yeah, they had it built from scratch, and his children are just unappreciative of it. Unappreciative is giving them some credit. They're just shitheads about it through and through, and you know his wife is kind of blasé. She doesn't care. But this is like his pride and joy. He spent all of his life trying to get that house built, and you know, just to see them tear down at him like that, you know, they go out and eat at some restaurant or something, and he just orders a pizza, and then like later that night, he goes out. They do some stuff. Is that when he picks up the dog?
Yeah, he goes out. I think he went out for like just a walk because he was in the. You know, you move in with your family to a house. The first thing is, the first family meal together in our first new house. They go out and leave him. They don't even ask, hey, do you want to come? They just, we're going out. And he orders takeout. It was just like, and he's sitting there by himself. And then he goes out, he finds a dog, brings it home, and they treat him more like shit.
Yeah, they don't like the dog, you know. The dog's not doing anything wrong. He or she is just being a dog. I'm a dog person myself. I got a dog. I love dogs. Dog treats me well. He loves me and everything. And that's kind of what I get from Inuyasha Ki and his dog. But his family doesn't like them. And, you know, after that, he goes out and finds out that he has cancer, you know, terminal cancer. He's got 3 months to live. So, you know, his family's treating him like shit. And we're full. We're like 8 minutes into the show at this point.
That scene, he just leaves the hospital. He goes to call everybody. He calls his son to tell him that he doesn't even answer. He clicks ignore. He tries to call his daughter. She clicks ignore. He calls his wife. She clicks ignore. Nobody cares what he has to say or about his life. So he goes out. It's nighttime. He goes and just walks to this field, this hill, and just lays down as if he's just, you know, in contemplating his mortality, his life. And then the show decides you know what? I want to be a different show now.
Yeah, at this point, the show just kind of goes off the rails, you know. Not in a bad way. I'm not saying that in a bad way, but
no.
If you're watching this show, you're just going down the feels train. This guy's life is horrible. His family treats him like shit. All he's got is his loving dog, and he's about to die in 3 months. And then, out of nowhere, a UFO hits him.
Yeah, a UFO. Well, first he looks over, and there's this like, oh look, there's a teenager standing there. I didn't even notice him there. And then UFO explodes.
UFO out of nowhere, you know. That's my favorite thing that happens. Like, I'm just taking a walk out, you know, at nighttime. Sometimes I do that with my dog too, you know, because especially now because it's getting late in the year, it's getting darker earlier. But, you know, it's one of my favorite things when I'm out on a walk that, you know, a UFO just appears out of nowhere and, you know, narrowly misses me. So I'm always grateful for that.
Yes, and so now we're in the inside of the UFO, okay? And there's no visible pilots, no visible anything, it's just voices. Oh shit, we just incinerated 2 human beings. Fuck, what do we do? Rebuild them, now! All we have is military-grade equipment. Do it!
Yeah, they're just like, you know, we got this military equipment. That's all we've got. You know, let's just rebuild them. That looks legit.
And then they leave.
They're gone. They're gone. Bye-bye.
And the old man wakes up. He's like, something happened, didn't it? Oh, well, I'll go home now. He goes home, and all of a sudden, he starts to realize his arm opens up into a cannon. He starts, like, steaming everywhere. It's like, he is a robot. He's been completely redesigned. His head splits open. And you see his brain's been replaced by just an orb. And he just decides to go out and, you know, defend truth and justice in the name of geriatrics everywhere.
Yeah, you know, Grandpa Ichiro, he's out there to administer justice to all these young punks because
I love that scene.
There's a couple of kids out, you know, never do wells.
Well, here's the thing. It doesn't even start with that. It starts with, oh crap, that's right. We were about the feels. So it goes to show this poor man who's homeless, who calls his girlfriend to beg her to let him come back and live with her. He says he's found a job. He's like, please let me come back and live with you. He gives her the sob story. You get this brief little like glimpse into this dude's life. And it's like, oh, the feels are back.
Yeah, the feels came right back. You know, this guy was down on his luck. His was it his wife? Girlfriend. All right, so either wife or girlfriend, she kicked him out. She wasn't having any more of his shit. And, you know, he found a new job. He got a new apartment rented, and he was going to turn his life around. And then these assholes show up.
Yeah, a group of, like, it's like what is it, like 7, 8? Like
there's too many of them.
Yeah, it's like these kids just decide, oh look, homeless guy, we're gonna clean the streets of homeless people, and start shooting with fireworks. And when then like Grandpa, Ichiro shows up and is like, he stands in front like, you must get past me first.
Yeah, he's our proud protector of truth and justice,
That lasts all of 15 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
He goes down.
Yeah, they just take a bat to his head and he goes down, but fortunately, he's an android.
He's a Bobit. And Bobit justice is introduced.
Yeah, these kids are brought to justice, and I thought this scene was just absolutely amazing.
Yes.
The cinematography, we were just talking about our last show. Studio Mappa's doing great. They had Yuri on Ice last year. Fantastic hit. Everybody's watched that show. Last season, they had Kakaguri, which I don't think it was that great, but this show right here, this show is one to watch. It's just everything we're seeing here. They got that soundtrack going. They've got all this cinematography with the camera angles rotating around these laser beams, just raining justice on these kids. There's an Overwatch joke in there.
I think there might have been.
Yeah.
But then, and they're only 2 episodes in on this one. Then the second episode happens. You might be thinking, oh wait, wasn't there a teenager? Yeah. There was.
Yeah. So,
and he's a fucking psychopath.
Well, it's not readily apparent at first because they just cut in this episode 2, which we just watched. I don't think either of us saw this coming,
No.
Grandpa Ichiro definitely represents kind of like the Superman what would they call archetype?
And the teenager is definitely the Zod archetype.
Yeah, so this kid's talking to his friend in high school, and he's trying to convince him that this girl is really hot, and he's like, bro, I'm not interested. I don't really care. She looks like a bitch to me. She's probably got a terrible personality. You know what I need to do? I need to go make sure that my bro is coming to school because I haven't seen him in a few days. So we get the first positive message from the show here. Be cool, stay in school.
Yeah, but the thing is, the way we get that positive message is that he frightens his friend to go back to school. First, he shows him that he's also an android like Grandpa Ichiro. He's like, but he doesn't really show, it's not like sort of, how cool is that sort of thing. It's almost as if to say, this is the first thing that's of a series of things I'm going to put you through. And without spoiling the episode, because I want you guys to go see this series. This series is really good, so I'm not going to tell you everything that happens. But he goes on this trip with our Zod, and he shows him how horrible he can be.
Yeah, this kid has no redeeming factors to him at all. None at all. He's a terrible human being. You're gonna have to watch the episode. I don't want to spoil it either.
And after he does these things with his friend watching him, making sure his friend watches him every time, he brings him back home and basically says, "You're coming to school tomorrow, right? And I'm even gonna come pick you up."
Yeah. He definitely wants this. He definitely wants his homeboy to go to school. Bar none. This kid needs to get his ass to school because his friend is just a psychopath, and he needs to listen to him and go to school.
And we're not gonna talk about the rest of the episode, except to say this. The rest of the episode shows how much of a pure, absolute psycho this kid is, and introduces our 2 main characters to each other, and that's how it ends.
Yeah, it ends with Grandpa Ichiro meeting him, and Grandpa Ichiro is not happy to meet him because he stands for truth and justice and everything, and he just witnessed what this kid did.
And what this kid did, when you watch the episode, if your jaw is not on the floor, not only what he did, but why he did it and how he did it, your jaws better be on the floor. You better not just be going, "Oh, look at that, huh?" Well, you see that every day.
Yeah, UFOs, every day. And clearly, we're gonna be watching this train ride because this is gonna be a wild ride. Definitely gonna see. I'm rooting for Grandpa Ichiro. He's there to administer justice to this kid,
and I cannot wait to see more of it.
Yeah, so I definitely recommend this one as well.
I get another thumbs up.
You know, I think Hoseki no Kuni is my favorite show this season. This is my second favorite. And his favorite show is probably my third favorite.
Okay, we'll get into that. Hoseki no Kuni was Land of the Lustrous, right?
Yes.
Okay. Wait, Land of the Lustrous is your favorite so far?
Yeah, it's my favorite, you know.
It's my see, and ours is almost flipped. Our top three are almost flipped. We both agree Inuyasha Ki is our second favorite.
Yeah.
We both agree on that. But our first and thirds are completely flipped, and we're going to get into that right now.
And I just want to say something. Typically, I don't like shows like Inuyasha Ki, which just has a dichotomy of good versus evil, but
yeah.
This one's just, you know, this I think this is going to solve that Superman problem that has been plaguing what is it, DC Comics? What studio's handling those?
DC.
Oh, well, maybe it's Fox or whatever, but
no, DC is handling DC.
Okay.
Fox is doing like the X-Men and stuff like that.
Oh, okay, yeah, but they've been having some real troubles because Superman is a really difficult character to write for, and
well, when they do it right, they do it right. Like the comics, when they do Superman right, they do it right.
Yeah.
Even Justice League did Superman very well.
Well, I really like the video games where they portray him, but they're you know, the last two video games we got, Injustice and Injustice 2, they portrayed him as a bad guy. Yeah. So I want to see the good guy.
Next on our list is, I'm sorry, I always get the name mixed up.